Hello, everyone. This is Jerry. Today we are going to be re-ranking the Ace Attorney cases now that I've played a couple more games in the series. For those of you who are wondering, don't worry. The next episode of the Comedy Fan Dub is coming out soon. It's just taking a little bit longer to cook than usual, especially since the version on Twitch is actually not the final version. But it will be out soon, so you don't have to worry about that. Um, I have put all of these down here because I have actually not finished the series yet. I have played the first four games, so the original trilogy plus Apollo Justice, and I have finished both of the Investigations games. But I have not managed to finish Dual Destinies, Spirit of Justice, or the Great Ace Attorney games. I'm vaguely familiar with them just through like casual research. But these are the ones that I'm very familiar with so far. All right, so we're going to go through all these and we're going to re rank them. And then I'm going to come back and rank all these again once I get through more of the cases. So the first turnabout is good. It's all right. It's a good way to start the series, good way to draw you in, good way to introduce the mechanics. It's solid. Nothing special, nothing terrible. Turnabout Sisters is great. Excellent second case. The story is solid. I like all of the supporting characters. Red White, yeah, he's kind of a clown, but he is very funny. So that saves it for me. Um, Turnabout Samurai, I actually like this one quite a bit. There's a lot of characters in this one that are super memorable. I like Vasquez a lot as the culprit. I like the supporting characters. Wendy Oldbag, yeah, she's annoying at times, but she also has, excuse me, she's also pretty memorable, in my opinion. Um, so I think this is a solid case. I don't hate it as much as everybody else does. Turnabout Goodbyes is excellent. Everything about this case is great. Manfred is such a wonderful bastard. Um, Having Miles as your defendant is really cool. The supporting characters, Lada in particular, are really memorable. So this one is outstanding. Rise from the Ashes. So it's going to go in great. The only reason that it's not up here is because it is too goddamn long. Everything about Rise from the Ashes is excellent except for its length. The supporting characters are incredible. I love Angel. I love Neil. Uh, Not Neil. Jake. Neil is the brother who died. Spoilers. Emma is a great investigation partner. Damon Gant is a great villain. Um, I love the history with the Joe Dark killings. But this case is too goddamn long. If it was like an hour and a half shorter, then it would be up here with Turnabout Goodbyes. Maybe even over here. But because of how freaking long it is, it has to be down here. I would actually, yeah, I would say in terms of ranking them from best to worst, in my opinion, from the first game, it would be Goodbye, Ashes, Sisters, Samurai, and then the first Turnabout. Again, this is it's not best to worst, really. It's just great to least great. I think all of them are good, in my opinion. Um, on the other hand, I do not like the Forgotten Turnabout. I think Amnesia as a plot point is really lame. I think there was more interesting ways to reintroduce the mechanics of the game, which we see at the start of the third game. We'll get there in a minute. Wellington is kind of a lame villain. The only saving grace for this case is Maggie. I do like Maggie a lot, but I think Maggie is mostly interesting because of her appearances later on in the story, as opposed to anything that she does in her first appearance. So this one, yeah, Um, Reunion and Turnabout is excellent. This one is really good. The introduction of Pearl is great. The introduction of Francisca is great. I love Francisca as a prosecutor. Um, Eenie Meenie is an interesting villain. Morgan Fay is a really interesting villain who I wish had gotten more screen time. Um, but this one is solid. This one is just really, really good. Oh boy. So, Turnabout Big Top, everybody's favorite case. Here's the thing. I like Acro as a killer. I think that Mo is a really good supporting character, and I think there are aspects of Max that are interesting. But, and this is a big addendum, the love triangle plot line really drags this case down a lot because the aesthetic of the circus is great. The animations of the puppet Trilo are really cool. Um, Ben as a character, not really. um, Max, his romance with Regina is not great, but at least there's more to his character than just that. If Max's only character trait was that he was in love with Regina, then he would be like a D tier character or maybe even lower. But because there's more to his personality than that, I could at least like ignore the other part and focus on the one that's less problematic. Um, Regina as a character is fine. She's okay. I really wish that they had written her better. I'm glad they bring her back in investigations and she's by herself so that she can be her own person for once. Um, but Mo and Acro saved this case for me. The aesthetics of the Big Top are really cool. Um, I don't like the plot line with Max, Ben, and Regina, but at least it's not the focus of the case, right? It is very important in the first day, but in the second half, we focus more on Acro and his loss of his brother, so at least there's that, you know. So this one is it's it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's also still not very good, unfortunately. There are aspects of it that I like, but that one thing really holds it back. I feel like if they just modified it, this case would maybe even be able to go up here somewhere. But this one, however, is excellent. Shelly the Killer is a great supporting character. Matt Ungard is another character like Manfred von Karma, who is such a magnificent asshole. Like he's such a bastard, but he's also such a great villain. Bringing back characters like Will and Wendy was solid. Um, I like Adrian a lot. Adrian's a really great supporting character. And then the twist with Matt, of course, was perfection. Um, oh, here we go. Tutorials. Yes. So this is a really good way of reintroducing the mechanics of a game by going back in time and having us play as Mia Fey for the first time in the series. Dahlia is a really, really good villain. Mia is great getting to see her more in her element as more than just like a spirit being channeled is super cool. Getting to see Phoenix before he was like, you know, cool, like back when he was a dork. That was really funny. This one is just solid. The Stolen Turnabout is also really great. The introduction of Godot is awesome. You guys already know I love Godot. He's my favorite Ace Attorney character. Um, I think that the Delights are really cool. I love both of them. They're a really wholesome couple, to be honest. I like Luke Atme as a villain. He's super goofy, but he's another one like Red White, where even though he's goofy, it's in an entertaining way. So you end up like kind of flipping from being like, oh, he's kind of cringe to being, oh, he's actually really funny. Um, so yeah, I like this one a lot. Recipe for Turnabout. Yeah, I think this one is also going to go in the great tier for me, to be honest. I think a lot of the cases in the third game are super solid in my opinion. Um, Recipe for Turnabout, the character Furio Tigre is a great antagonist. Again, super solid. Viola is a really great supporting character. I like seeing Maggie again, in a setting where the case surrounding her is better. Um, the characters of Jean and Guy, um, Guy is just kind of a perverted old man, which I mean, that's not a character trait that really bothers me. As someone who grew up on Naruto and Dragon Ball, and saw Master Roshi and Jiraiya, the pervy old man doesn't really bother me. Um, Gene Armstrong, I mean, he's kind of a gay stereotype, but he's also like really entertaining. And they never, I mean, they don't do the persona thing by portraying him as like a predator or anything. So they just have him be really loud and foppish. I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible either. I'm just glad they didn't do the Persona 5 thing where they made the gay guys like creeps. I mean, that's the one big flaw in Persona 5 is that gay couple that harasses Ryuji. But, it's just one scene in Persona 5 and the rest of Persona 5 is great. So, what are you going to do? Uh but I think this one recipe is solid. I think that one's pretty good. This one is well, mm, okay, so here's the thing. I want to put this one here, but I have to bump it down here. And the only reason is because of the context behind Dahlia and Terry's relationship. It's another thing where, like in Big Top, um, in this case, I feel like if they had modified that aspect of the story with Terry and Dahlia, then this case would be a lot better because everything else about it is great. Getting to see Godot as Diego is awesome. Getting to see more of Mia being like a rookie prosecutor, getting more expansion on Dahlia's character and setting her up for the finale of the game. Again, if they had just tweaked that one aspect, then I feel like this case would be so much better. But, you know, what are you going to do? Bridge to the Turnabout, however, is incredible. I would actually put it right here. I think Bridge to the Turnabout is probably the best case in the series based on what I've played so far. Again, I've played the first 3 games, Apollo Justice and the Investigations duology. And out of all of those games, I think Bridge to the Turnabout is still the best case I've played. It is so good. Yes, it is long, but it doesn't feel as dragged out as Rise from the Ashes. The supporting characters are solid. Getting to see Miles and Francisca again is great. Getting to play as Miles for the first time was incredible. Getting the full scope of Iris and Dahlia's backstory, getting Godot's entire story, the expansion on Phoenix's character, connecting the Fae clan back into the story, and like continuing the story of not just this third game, but also the story from all the way back in the second case of the second game which has also been set up at the start of the first game with the red white information thing. Like bringing all of these plot points together and still managing to tell all of these really cool stories with all these different characters is just God. Yeah, this one is probably the best case in the series so far. So I would definitely put this one right here in the front. Turnabout Trump. Mm, yeah, actually, I would put this one up here. Apollo, at least in this case, gets, I think, enough focus. Um, I know a lot of people are kind of upset about the fact that Phoenix is in this game so much. I get that. I do. I also really like seeing him though. Um, the the twist with Kristoff in this case is solid. Um, but I do think that this case benefits a lot. Actually, I think I'm going to put it down here because this case benefits a lot from the context of the fourth case. When when you have the stories of this one and case number 4 combined, they make like almost the perfect story. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Kristoff is such a good villain. He is such a good villain. Like, I went into the Apollo Justice game thinking, like, oh, Phoenix is going to hog the spotlight and Apollo is going to be an afterthought. And that really didn't happen for me personally. Apollo got a lot of screen time. Um, his interactions with Trucy are great. And Kristoff is such a great villain. He is one of the best villains in the series so far. He's almost, I think, in my opinion, he's even better than Dahlia just because of the fact that, well, I don't want to say he's written better, but the way he's integrated into the story is so interesting, you know? I just think Kristoff is such a great villain, and he really steals the show in this case and in the ending case, but we'll get to that in a minute. Um, Turnabout Corner is right here. Um, I like the Katakis. Winifred and Plum are cool. Waki is kind of annoying, but he at least means well. Alita is, she's kind of a boring villain, but I understand the motivation. I get it. Wesley Stickler sucks. I hate him. He's somehow even worse than characters like Ben Woodman, because, well, you know why. I wish that they would stop including characters like that in Ace Attorney. Um, but I do like Guy Aldoon. Yeah, so most of the supporting characters are cool, other than Wesley. Guy Aldoon is a great supporting character. Getting our introduction to Clavier is cool. I like him a lot. I don't like him as much as Godot, but I do like him. Um, and I think the reintroduction of Emma as kind of like a jaded older woman is really interesting, especially if you have the context of Rise from the Ashes. And the introduction of Trucy is awesome, and her interactions with Apollo are solid. I really like Trucy a lot. She's a great character. Turnabout Serenade is also good. There's a lot of leaps in logic that don't really make sense in this one. I get what they were going for, kind of, but again, I would say this one is just kind of okay. The character of Lamiwar is interesting, at least, and setting her up for the end of the game, solid. I like Valant Gramry. He's very cool. Romaine and Machi are just kind of whatever. Darien is, eh. I like the fact that Darien expands upon Clavier's backstory, at least. That's a good thing. More Clavier development is always good, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, this one is just kind of, it's just kind of in my opinion. This one, however, Turnabout Secession is so good. I do not care what anybody says. The finale of Apollo Justice is incredible. I would actually, you know what? I'm going to rank these top ones right here. So, Bridge to the Turnabout is still in first. Turnabout. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, Bridge to the Turnabout's in first. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might actually do this. I might have to put this one in second, to be completely honest. Yeah, this one again. Kristoff steals the show in this case. He is so interesting. He's such a great antagonist. And the fact that he only shows up in 2 cases in the 4th game and never shows up again is a crime because he's so well written. Yeah. Yeah, I would probably put this one. This one is probably my second favorite in the series so far, to be completely honest. Um yeah, I like that ranking for the top ones right now. Um for these, put this one over here. Put this one here. And that one's good there. Yeah, that's about right there. And then I like I actually like Big Top more than this one. I hate Amnesia as a plot line. It's so stupid. Um, I'll put this one there, and we'll put this one here. Yeah, 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 right about there. Yeah. Okay. So, investigations is next. So the first case of one is the one with Shock Boardman, and that one's good. That one's okay. It's simple. It's an introduction to the game. It doesn't really need to be that complicated. Um, I actually I need to remind myself. Hold on. Of the cases for this one. Hold on. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this one is solid. I like Jacques Portman as a starter villain. He's very Winston Payne coded, but I like him a lot. Uh, and getting this new gameplay style where we're, playing in like a 3D space and we have these cross examination esque talks with the witnesses is really cool. Turnabout Airlines is good. I would probably put it right about here. Yeah, right about there. Um, Being on a plane, like a huge luxury plane, is really cool. That's a really cool setting. I like that a lot. Um, the supporting characters are solid. I like Cammy. Was that her name? Cammy? Hold on. Cammy Meal? Was that her name? Hold on. Yeah, I like Cammy. I like Rhoda. Zinc LeBlanc is kind of annoying, but he's supposed to be. So what are you gonna do? But that one's solid. And then Kidnapped Turnabout. Oh yeah, this one. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. This one is Yeah, it's gonna go right about there. Yeah, that one's really good. I like that one a lot. Um, I think this is the first one where you encounter Shilong Lang, if I remember correctly. And I like Lang a lot. He's a really cool rival character for Miles. He balances him out really well. So that one's solid. Let's see. Next up is this is the flashback case. Yeah, this one's really good. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Getting to see younger Miles and younger Francisca, and getting to see Manfred again, really cool. I like that one a lot. And then the finale is also up here. Yeah, the ending, the last chunk of investigations is solid. And Kyrsis Alba is such a great villain. He's another one where it's like he's such a bastard, but you're like, you're so interesting, you know? Um, and then Investigations 2, number 1, put that one right about here. Yeah. Um, that one's cool. I like Bronco Knight a lot. He's really interesting as an antagonist. And the setup for the story of the second game is really good in this one. Ooh, and then this one. Yes. I'll put it right here, actually. I love Eddie. I love the setting of the prison is great. The supporting characters, Rocco and Canis, are really cool. Getting to see Frank Sod again was unexpected, but interesting. Verity, not great, but she gets better as the game goes on. So I'd put it right up here. This one, honestly, I would even, yeah. The flashback Turnabout Legacy is so good. It's so good. I actually would have put this one down here, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Turnabout Legacy is so good. Getting to see Gregory and him going up against Manfred, and you knowing what's going to happen based on the first game, and then a younger Eddie, and getting to see Tyrell again, and so good. It's so good. Oh my goodness. This one. Hold on. I remind myself for that one. Probably not a good sign. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this one, yep. Okay. This one, yeah, it's down here. It's okay. It's solid. You know, it's mostly it kind of feels like act 1 for this one, where I feel like these two together would work better. It would probably make it too long though, and that would end up being like Rise from the Ashes. This one, however, is great. I'll put it right here. Again, Excelsius is a bastard, but he's a great villain. And the culmination of the arc of Eustace and the connection that Excelsius has back to characters like Manfred, and the history behind so many of Miles's like biggest traumas, with like the DL6 incident and the what's the other one, SL9, I believe, SS9. Yeah, SS5. Yeah, is really solid. Uh, so yeah, that's the ranking right now. Um, bridge, bridge. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That looks good. That's solid. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.